Yeah, this would normally be happening anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today we're going to try a new practice, and I want to have us start on our backs. And so let's make sure that we've got 2 blocks and a blanket. And make sure that when you lie down on your back, you have a block that's easily accessible to you. Great. And then once you make your way onto your back, the first thing I would like you to do is just notice how it feels for you to lay on the floor. Does it feel like your palms want to spin up to the sky? Does it feel like they want to face down? Do the hands wish to be on the body or off the body? Do the legs want to be straight or bent? You're just taking a moment to take inventory of how you're feeling at this moment. And we're going to spend the first few minutes of our practice today really trying to emphasize breathing into certain parts of the body because it'll help us as we move along. So once you feel like you've got a pretty good imprint of what your body's doing, notice how the breath is doing. Where do you feel your breath? Is it high in the chest? Do you notice it in the nose? Does it feel like it's in the abdomen, or none of the above? Next, after you notice where the breath is, just observe its texture, its pace, its rhythm. Does the breath feel full and luxurious? Does it feel a little shallow? Does it feel smooth? Does it feel disjointed? Just notice what the breath is doing. Great. And so that's just your first look. Now I want you to go ahead and extend your legs long if the knees are bent. Bring your hands to your hips like you're Superman, standing very confidently, making little fists with your hands. They're right at your hips. And then slide those fists all the way up to your armpits. Great. And so lightly start to press your fists or the knuckles of your hands into the ribs. And then take a big breath in and press the ribs out into the knuckles. And then you'll exhale and let the knuckles press into the ribs start to collapse. And we're going to take 5 or 6 breaths like this. So you're going to breathe into the upper ribs, into the hands, widening the ribs, front, back, right, left. And then you're exhaling and narrowing the ribs. And as you take these last 4 breath cycles here, I'd like you to really observe if you can breathe into the collarbones, into the upper rib bones. And then notice that as you exhale, you can soften the lower ribs first. As you take these last 3 breath cycles here and you're filling the upper ribs first, notice the breath starts to descend down to your pelvis. And then as you exhale, start to observe that the breath empties from the belly first, and then it starts to empty through the ribs and coming up. And you've just got 2 more breaths like that. And you're trying to make the breath as full as possible, really pushing the ribs into the hands, widening front, back, right, left. And then really allowing things to soften or narrow as you breathe out. This is your last one. And you're just observing, does the breath feel like it's a little longer now? Does it feel like it's a little smoother, a little fuller? Nice work. Gently release the hands and bring your hands to the top of your pelvis. So your thumbs might touch, your fingers might reach down towards your pubic bone. And then you can keep your legs straight or bend your knees. Great. And if the knees are bent, just make sure they're hip distance apart. And you'll just try breathing into your hands, into the low belly, into that space between the belly button and the pubic bone, and then exhaling from that space. And if it feels weird to access this with your legs straight, you can try bending your knees and notice if that makes it a little bit easier for you to feel this. But you're really just breathing into that lowest part of your abdomen. And you're feeling that the breath distends into the hands. So it fills the hands and the hands float up. And then you're feeling the hands soften with gravity, the belly soften with gravity, dropping into your back body. And you've just got 2 more like that, really breathing into the lowest part of the abdomen. So it almost feels like as you're doing this, you can start to feel that the belly drops towards the sacrum. And then at the end, it feels like you can pull that belly region up towards your face. And then as you inhale, all of that relaxes. And the exhale, it feels like maybe the pubic bone rolls up, the low belly drops down, and the whole bottom of the pelvic floor starts to pull up just a bit. And we'll just take one more like that. Nice work. All right, if your legs are straight, go ahead and bend your knees, plant your feet firmly on the floor, and then let's grab one of your blocks. Slide that block between your thigh bones on first or second setting, whatever feels best to you. And make sure you have enough room over your head to extend your arms back behind you. So if you need to squinch your butt forward, please squinch your butt forward. Great. And then press down actively through the feet. Bring your hands alongside the hips if they're not there. There we go. And then inhale, push down through the feet, lift up through the hips, lift up through the arms, reaching the arms up and overhead behind you. And then exhale, lower the hands down, lower the hips down, come back to that starting position. And you've got 4 more like these. And let's see if you can make this next one a 5 count inhalation to lift up into that bridge shape. And then you'll slowly lower the spine back down. And then you'll see if you can make the subsequent one a 6 count inhalation. Yep. And a slow exhale all the way down. And you'll take 2 more like this, maybe making it a 7 count inhalation, and then maybe an 8 count inhalation. And you're just noticing what you notice as you do this. We're starting to lengthen the inhalation. And you're noticing what's happening in the breath. You're noticing what's happening in the body. After you've done 4, keep your hands alongside your hips. Great. And then you'll take a slow inhalation to press up into bridge pose, keeping your hands here. Once your hips are high, start to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. From there, press the upper arms into the floor, press the palms into the floor, squeeze your block and lift your hips. If this feels nice, pushing the palms down, you might stay there or you might interlace the hands. But we've got 5 steady breath cycles here. We're going to go back to that breathing pattern we started with. So inhaling into the chest, into the upper ribs as though you're pushing your hands wide. And as you exhale, you'll lightly squeeze that block, drop the low belly down to the sacrum and pull that space up towards your face. And we've got 4 more just like that. So inhaling, chest lifts, ribs widen, broaden. And then the exhale, the low belly draws back to the sacrum and up towards your face. And you're just noticing that as you focus really on this breath, you can lightly press down into the back of the skull, push down into the upper arms and the feet. And as you exhale, you're squeezing that block and just observing the breath moving through the body for these last 2 breath cycles. Can you keep your awareness focused on the collarbones and the ribs widening with the inhale? And can you keep your awareness in the low pelvis, or rather the low abdomen, drawing the pelvic floor up? At the end of your next exhalation, gently release the hands, untuck the shoulders, and bring your pelvis back down to the floor and pause. Just notice how the breath feels now. Notice how the body feels now. Keeping that block, keep your hands on the floor, draw your knees towards your chest. Great. Lightly push through the balls of your feet, flexing through the toes, doing that Barbie floink thing. Hands stay on the floor. And then you'll inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead to the floor behind you, straighten the legs up towards the sky. Yep. And exhale, bend the knees, draw the hands back down to the floor. Great. We'll do 4 of those. So inhale, arms reach up, legs reach up. And then slow exhale, knees bend, arms return back to the floor. And as you take these next 3 on your own, see if you can make this a 6 count inhalation. Long, deep breath. And then a slow exhale. And then the subsequent one might become a 7 count inhalation, long, deep breath. And then a slow exhalation. And then the last one might be an 8 count inhalation, long, deep breath. Slow exhalation. And each of you are working at your own breath pace. After you've done 8 counts, you'll take one more, making it maybe 8 counts again. Keep your legs up towards the sky, the arms back behind you. And we're going to pause here. So arms are overhead, maybe touching floor. Press out through the balls of your feet, lightly squeeze into the block. And we're going to return to that breathing pattern we started with. So inhale, widen the collarbones, widen the ribs, front, back, right, left. Exhale, squeeze that block, draw the low belly to the floor and then up to your face. So we've got 4 more just like that. So inhale, collarbones lift, ribs widen. Exhale, low belly draws down and up towards your face. So this is our sneaky core work, as Erica likes to call this. And you're just noticing that as you squeeze that block on the exhale, and you press up through the balls of your feet, you feel the low belly engage on that exhalation. And as you inhale, see if you can keep lifting collarbones, widening the ribs, reaching out through your arms, slightly drawing chin to chest. Yep. Exhale, squeeze the block, press through your feet. Last 2 breath cycles here. Big breath in, broadening collarbones, lifting and widening ribs. Exhale, squeeze block, press through the feet. Low belly draws down and up. And last one, inhale, find more length. As you exhale, hug the knees to the chest, release the hands to the floor. Then drop the feet to the floor and remove the block, and just take a moment to pause, take a moment to breathe, and just notice how that feels. And then we'll start by extending right arm over your head, roll over onto your right side. Continue to roll over until you find yourself on hands and knees. And we'll turn to face the top of our space. So once you come to the top of your space, go ahead and tuck both sets of toes under, separate your hands shoulder distance apart, and then inhale, gaze forward with your face. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And we're going to take 5 of these. Great. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees, broaden through the collarbones, broaden through the ribs. Exhale, downward facing dog. And so as you take these last 4 sets, see if you can return to that breath rhythm. So maybe you now inhale down for 6 counts. And then you press back possibly for 6 counts. And you're working to see if you can then elongate the inhalation again, coming forward for 7 counts. And then again, pressing back possibly for 7 counts. And then you'll notice what happens if you come forward for 8 counts. And again, you're still broadening through the ribs as you breathe in. And you're still drawing the low belly towards the sacrum and up towards the face as you breathe out. And then this is our last one, and we'll let this one be 8 counts as well, if possible. And then you'll stay in downward facing dog this time. And once you find downward facing dog, let's all press down through the L shape of our hands, so the index finger and thumb. Draw your chin towards the nook of your neck. Yeah. And then let's see if you can find that breath pattern again. So breathing into your ribs, into the collarbones, into the shoulders. And then the exhale, the low belly draws back to your sacrum, and then all of that drops towards your abdomen. And you'll do that about 3 more times. So breathing into collarbones, shoulder blades, ribs. And then exhale, low belly towards the sacrum. All that area draws up towards your face. And you're just observing and noticing how the breath is working now. You're observing and noticing how this starts to change and alter the mental landscape, and then, of course, your emotional landscape. And this is our last breath cycle here, still lifting through those inner armpits as you push down into the hands. Yep. And then you'll take a big breath in, come forward to hands and knees. And then sit back either for toe squat or for Vadrasana. You'll just sit for a moment on the tops of your knees and shins, close the eyes and just observe what's going on. So we're not going to stay here long in toe squats. It's not necessary that it be a big one. You just notice what you notice. Great. And then from here, you'll come forward, hands and knees. Bring your butt to the floor. And you might sit up on something, you might not, but you're going to cross at the ankles. And we're going to do a bit of pranayama. So I'm experimenting with how we insert things. And so we're going to put our pranayama here today. I want you to bring one of your hands to your low belly, and you're going to touch between your belly button and your pubic bone. So it's really low belly area. The other hand can just hang out wherever the heck it wants to. And I want you to inhale and really push your belly into your hand. And then exhale, notice that you can draw the low belly in. So the inhale pushes the belly into the hand, it goes away from you. The exhale pulls it in. And the inhale pushes it away, and the exhale pulls it in. This is called Bhastrika, bellows breath. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want to. So it's almost like Kapalabhati, but with Kapalabhati, it's just pulling it in. With Bhastrika, you're pushing it out and pulling it in. So you can do it as fast or as slow as you want to, but we're going to do it for a minute. And so you can stay at the pace that you're at. If you do it a little bit faster, it looks like this. And we're going to continue for about 30 more seconds. So you just notice that you can push the belly out and pull the belly in, and it's really just happening at the abdominal region. It's almost like a bellows when you would pump fire or light a fire, that little thing that you would, feed the fire. You're just doing that with your belly. And we'll go for about 10 more seconds, 9 more seconds, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently release. Just take a moment to notice the breath pace now. And then for today, we're going to do Surya Bedna. So you'll bring your right hand to your face, right thumb on the outside edge of right nostril, right ring finger on the outside edge of left. Exhale all the breath from your lips. Close your lips and inhale just through your right nostril. Top of your inhalation, close your right nostril and exhale out through your left nostril. The bottom of the exhalation, close the left nostril, inhale once again through the right. Top of the inhalation, close the right and exhale out just through your left. And you'll repeat that 4 more times on your own. So you're always breathing in through your right nostril, and you're always breathing out through your left. And you're just noticing how you can start to slow the breath down here. You might find that maybe your inhalation is easily 6 counts. Your exhalation might also easily be 6 counts. You might find that it naturally wants to be a little bit longer, maybe 8 counts, maybe even 10 counts. And you're just following that. So Surya Bedna is specifically to help us aliven in the morning. And you're just noticing what this breathing pattern is doing for you now. Great. And we'll just take one more round. And you're just working to notice how soft, how smooth, how effortless this breath can be. And at the end of your next exhalation, so the next time the breath passes out through your left nostril, you'll simply lower your right hand and just take a moment to notice what you notice. How's the breath? How's the body? How's the mind? Nice. Okay, if the eyes are closed, gently lower the chin towards the chest, flutter the eyeballs open, and we're going to make our way up to stand. So you're going to figure out how you wish to get there, but you're going to stand at the top of your space. And once you're standing at the top of your space, just take a moment to stand in Tadasana. So arms alongside your hips. Notice how your feet feel. Notice how the arms feel. Notice how the chest feels. And this is just, again, a check-in to see how it's going. Great. Once you feel like you have that mental imprint, I want you to take both of your blocks and put them to frame the top of your space. So one to the right, one to the left. Awesome. Once you've got that, step your left foot back for warrior one. I highly encourage you to bring your hands to your hips for a moment. So we haven't done anything to stretch out your calves, and you're totally going to feel that right away. You're going to be like, yep, Jessica, what the heck is going on? So I want you to lift all 5 toes of your back foot, push your pinky toe down, spread wide through the foot, and then put the big toe down. With your hands on your hips, see if you can steer your hips a little bit more towards the front of your space. And then you're making sure that front knee tracks over the center of your front foot. Now bring your right hand to your low back, and the palm will face away from you. Your left hand will then lengthen down alongside your left hip. And you're going to inhale, reach your left arm forward and up. And then exhale, lower the hand down, straighten the front leg. And we've got 4 more of these. So inhale, bending the front knee, reaching the left arm forward and up. And then exhale, coming out of it. Now you can stay just working with this. Otherwise, we'll go back to that breathing pattern. So as you inhale and reach the arm up, you're widening through the upper ribs and the collarbones. As you exhale, the low belly draws back and then up. We've got about 2 more. Inhaling, broadening through collarbones, reaching through the lifted arm. Exhale, low belly draws in and back. Awesome sauce. And this last one will stay. So you'll inhale and lift up through that left arm. Now go ahead and exhale and open the left arm out to the left. Bend the elbow like you're holding a tray on your left hand. And then reach the right arm out to match it. Okay, we're going to stay here for about 5 breaths. See if you can shift your shoulders forward just a little bit for me, Sandy. Yep. And then I want you to breathe into the collarbones, out into your arms, as though you're trying to breathe into your pinky fingers. As you exhale, low belly draws in and up. And we'll stay here for 4 more breaths. And you'll notice that the more you bend into the front knee, you might feel more stretch across that inner left groin thigh area. The more that you can breathe wide across the collarbones, you'll feel the chest lift and maybe some spaciousness created in the upper ribs. And you're just observing and noticing how the breath is moving here, how the breath is moving now. Take 1 more breath cycle here, breathing into collarbones, breathing into ribs, and then exhale. That low belly draws back and up. Nice job. Next, inhale, straighten out through the arms, reach them out, straighten that front leg long. And then we'll start to pivot our pelvis. So most of you have your right leg forward. So you'll start to rotate your ribs towards the left. Then walk that back foot wherever you need it to be for triangle pose. Lower your left arm so it's alongside your left hip, and then inhale, reach out through that right arm, lowering the right hand to shin, block, or floor, whatever works best for you. Great. Now with that back hand, turn the palm to face the side of your room, and then inhale, rainbow the arm up and over your head. Bow the ribs so you can really round those left ribs. And then exhale, sweep the arm back. And we're going to take 4 more of these. So as you inhale and sweep that left arm up, at the top of the inhalation, you might pause for a count or 2. And then exhale, sweep the arm straight back. And as you take these next 3 on your own, you're just noticing that depending upon what you did with your hips, so Steve changed sides, put your left arm down or do that. Yep, there you go. And you're just pausing at the top of the inhalation for a count and just noticing what that does. And again, every inhalation is breathing into the collarbones and the ribs. Every exhalation is drawing the low belly back and up. And then this next time you sweep that left arm up and over your head, go ahead and pause there. Press down through both of your feet, slight bend in your front knee. Push down into your right hand as though you wanted to reach your left low ribs up towards the sky, almost like it's rounding just a little bit. That sounds really weird, but you'll get a fun stretch across the QL. And you're just taking a moment to pause and you're taking a moment to breathe. On your next exhalation, sweep that left arm back. Start to bend into the front knee and come momentarily through warrior two. Now this is a weird warrior two, so bring your hands wherever they need to come, maybe onto the hips, maybe you adjust, but we're trying to just observe what happens here. And then very gently, you'll step to the top of your space. Lower your arms and notice what you notice between the sides. How does the right feel? How does the left feel? Everything that we do has an impact, but we have to take the time to observe the impact. It gives us a little bit more efficiency and effectiveness in our lives. All right, let's go ahead and try the other side. So step your right foot back. Hands might come to hips to start. And then you'll just square your hips so that you feel like you can, well, it's not really squaring it, but you're kind of steering your hips towards the top of your space. Lift all 5 toes of that right foot. Press the pinky toe down and back and then spread wide along the transverse arch until you can put your big toe down. And then notice what's happening in that front knee. Is it tracking over the center of your front foot? And then see if you can bring your left hand palm facing away from you to your low back. Lower your right arm alongside your hip. And then inhale, sweep that arm forward and up. And then exhale, straighten the front leg, lower the arm down. And you've got 4 more of these. So the inhale draws you into a variation of Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. And the exhale draws you out of it. Now, just as we did on the first side, you have the opportunity to start to focus on the breath going to the collarbones and the ribs as you inhale. And you have the opportunity to focus on the exhale, drawing the low belly in and up. You can also notice that as you're doing this, you can breathe into your back body. So you're really paying attention to the back, pushing into the hand, especially as you exhale. So those front ribs will come into the back body will push into your left hand, and you're just noticing how all of this is working simultaneously. Great. I believe we have 2 more. And this next one will go ahead and stay. So you'll inhale into this variation of warrior 1. As you exhale, the right arm opens out to the right. Slightly bend the elbow like you're holding a tray, and then reach the left arm out to mirror it. Now the shoulder blades are hugging together on the back, so there's a slight squeeze. And then you're still inhaling into collarbones, into upper ribs, as though your hands are still pushing here. The exhale is drawing the low belly back and up. And you're just observing what's happening here, seeing if you can release any tension across the face. Barbara, shift your shoulders forward an inch for me. Yeah. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And you're noticing what you notice. We've got 1 more breath cycle here. A deeper bend in the front knee increases the stretch along the inner back thigh, so you control that for you. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Turn your ribs towards the right. So ribs rotate all the way towards the right. And then notice if you need to walk your right foot back just a smidge. Great. Lower your right hand down so the palm faces forward like Egyptians or something. And then you'll start to reach out through your left arm, keeping the left side body long, maybe lowering the left hand to the top of shin, the block, or the floor. And then from here, push down through both feet. And you can bow the ribs. So it almost feels like I create a C curve on that top as you reach the arm up. So you inhale, rainbow the arm up. And it's almost like you're taking a side cat or something there. It just stretches more of your side ribs, side waist. And then exhale, sweep the arm back, flattening the low ribs. And you've got 4 more of those. And at the top of the inhalation, you might pause and hold the breath for a count or 2. And then exhale, swim the arm back, flatten the low ribs. And you're just following your own breath. You're noticing what this feels like. I can't speak for any of you, but I do know that for me, I often get caught up so often in trying to keep up and trying to judge what's happening internally based upon what I see externally. And our practice is really an opportunity for us to tune in to what's happening internally and trust that that is more than enough. All right, the next time that right arm sweeps up and overhead, you'll pause and stay there for about 3 to 4 breath cycles. And again, you're pressing into that big toe mound. You're hugging both feet together. And you can bow those right ribs up by sort of allowing a little bit of a side bend, side crunch on the left ribs. And it just creates even more space on the right intercostal muscles, right QL muscles. Great. Next exhale, go ahead and swim that right arm back. Yep. And then come into warrior 2 for a moment and notice, do you need to adjust the hips this side? Do you need to adjust the arms? You're just observing what this feels like. Sometimes if you push through both feet and hug them together even more, you'll feel more stretch on that inner right thigh. And then from here, you'll step to the top of your space, lower both arms alongside your hips, and just notice what you notice now. How do the feet feel? How does the back of the body feel? How does the breath feel? Great. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that block, slide it between your shin bones on first or second setting. Highly encourage you to have it probably a little bit lower than you normally might, just so when we bend over, you don't touch it with your face. And then from here, bring your left palm behind you. Yep. Inhale, sweep your right arm up and overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, sit for chair pose. Take an inhalation here, breathing into right arm collarbones. Exhale, keep the knees bent. Reach your right arm forward, touch the floor outside of your right foot. Yep, keep the knees bent, head drops down. Yep. Inhale, sweep back, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, stay here, low belly into spine. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, lower that right arm down. We'll do that one more time just on this side. So inhale, the right arm sweeps up. Exhale, both knees bend like you're sliding your butt down a wall. Inhale, find more length in the upper chest. Exhale, chin draws slightly into chest. Reach forward through the right arm. Lower the right arm next to the right foot. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward. Lean back, sit, chair pose. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And exhale, lower the right arm down. We'll do that on the other side. Inhale, sweep your left arm up. Exhale, bend the knees. So right arm behind you. Inhale, reach up through the left fingers, collarbones, ribs. Exhale, chin draws in towards the nook of your neck. Hinge at your hips. Lower the left arm outside the left leg. Inhale, bend through the knees, reach forward through that left arm, sit, chair pose. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And exhale, lower the left arm down. One more cycle, just like that. Inhale, sweep the arm up. Exhale, slide the butt down, bend your knees. Inhale, find more length in the upper ribs, upper spine. Exhale, hinge the hips, chin draws to the nook of your neck, knees stay bent, left hand touches floor. Inhale, sweep the left arm forward, bend the knees, sit, chair pose. Exhale, low belly draws into back body. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And exhale, lower the hand down. Now both arms. Inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. Exhale, bend both knees. And we're going to stay here for 5 breath cycles. So again, you breathe into the collarbones, into the ribs. That energy radiates up through the arms, out through the fingertips. As you exhale, the low belly draws back towards the sacrum and up towards your face. So it's the same breath pattern we've been working with. But here you might find that it actually stabilizes the low back. It encourages the front ribs to draw in upon that exhalation. And then that inhalation really creates a sense of buoyancy, a sense of lift through the chest, elongation through the thoracic spine. You've got 2 more breath cycles here. See if the bum can still continue to sit low. Nice job. Last inhalation here. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, chin towards the chest, fingertips touch outside of your feet. Great. Now, if you can, some of you will go ahead and grab your big toes. Some of you will just keep touching the floor. Great. If you need to remove that block for stability's sake, you remove that block. Otherwise, you keep the block. Straighten your legs to whatever degree works for you. And then you'll inhale, lift the back of your heart first, and then elongate through your head, halfway lift. And then exhale, scoop the low belly and fold your legs or your chest towards your legs. And you've got 3 more just like that. So inhale, back of heart lifts first, ripples through your head. And then exhale, low belly empties, chin towards the nook of your neck and fold all the way in. Great. 2 more on your own. Back of heart lifts first, ripple through the ribs. And then exhale, fold all the way in. And your knees are as bent as they need to be. So we're working on our hamstrings here. So if that's too much to hold the toes, by all means, don't hold the toes. And this next time you fold in, you're just going to stay there for 3 breath cycles and just notice what you notice here. Where's the weight in the feet? Is it inside, outside, front, and back, or is it balanced? Is the chin drawing into the nook of the neck? And can you again still breathe into those upper ribs, those collarbones, those armpits? And then exhale, low belly draws in towards the sacrum and up towards your face. Nice job. If you're still holding your toes, please let them go. Remove that block from between your shin bones. And then step your right foot back and step your left foot back. And we're going to find ourselves into plank pose. And just for today, I want you to notice what happens if you separate your hands a little bit, right to left. And just for today, I want you to notice what happens if you walk your feet together. So both feet walk in, both arms walk out. And then push down through those hands. Lengthen back through the tail, and we'll come back to that breath pattern we started with. So inhaling, breathing wide into ribs, right, left, front, and back. And then exhale, low belly draws in and up. And so we're trying to activate the front of our body. So if it feels like your core is working, you're in the right alignment for you. If it feels like your core is not working a lot, you might need to lower your bum a little bit, or you might need to lift your bum a little bit until it feels like you can feel that pubic bone, low belly area draw in and up with the exhale. And the inhale, you can widen across the ribs. Great. Option to stay here if this works for you. Otherwise, you're going to roll your outer left foot to the floor, roll to your left hand, lift your right arm up, and you've got 3 breath cycles here. Again, see if you can keep drawing that low belly back to the sacrum, up to your face as you exhale. And then you're inhaling, pushing into that left hand, widening through those ribs, reaching up through the right arm. Nice job. Last breath cycle here. And as you exhale, come back to that plank position, hands a little bit wider than shoulders. Squeeze your outer shin bones in a lot here. Lengthen your tailbone back. Option to stay right here or bring the outer right edge of the foot to the floor. Roll to the right hand. Lift the left arm up, Vashisthasana. And again, if that left arm is lifted, can the left hand be over the right hand? So is that hand leaning back or is it straight up? Nice job, guys. Last breath cycle here. As you exhale, you'll lower the left hand, come back to plank pose one more time and take 2 breath cycles here. Hug the outer shin bones in, pubic bone draws in and up and breathing into the collarbones. And as you exhale this time, lower the spine all the way to the floor. Yay, relax, bring an ear to the mat. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Where is the breath now? Again, you're still breathing into those collarbones, right, left, front, back, but how does it feel in this orientation to gravity? I think all aspects of life are just kind of trying to teach us how to react to different orientations to gravity. Sometimes things are upright and we feel completely in charge. Sometimes they're a little sideways. Sometimes they're completely inverted. Bring the other ear to the mat. But the question to keep in mind, of course, is like, can we remember that we can still keep breathing? Opening those upper ribs really lets the breath come in and lets the breath descend. And then using the low abdomen to exhale really allows us to let go of the things we do not need. And apparently this is both literal and metaphorical. So good job, yogis. All right, let's move on. Bring your forehead back to the mat. Bring your hands alongside your ribs. So your palms are now pressing into the floor. And I want you to slide your hands back just a millimeter. Great. Bring the tops of your feet onto the floor. So Jenny, plant your palms next to your ribs. Great. And then from here, I want you to spread wide through your pinky toes, press the pinky toes into the floor, press the big toes into the floor. And then inhale, you'll come up to cobra. And exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, come up to Shalabhasana, locust pose. So legs lift, heads lift. And exhale, lower down. So keep your hands as they are. We're going to add on to that. Inhale, come into cobra. This time you'll stay a complete breath cycle. So exhale, squeeze your elbows towards each other. Little arm strength happening here. Inhale, lift a little higher through the chest. And exhale, lower all the way down. Great. Inhale, lift head and legs up and away from the floor. Exhale, hug the shin bones together, lengthen the tailbone back, squeeze the elbows towards each other. Inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, lower all the way down. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Inhale, come up for cobra pose. Legs are active. Exhale, squeeze elbows towards each other. Inhale, see if you can lift a little higher with just the back muscle. So arms aren't doing any work here. Exhale, squeeze the elbows towards each other. Inhale, lift a little higher. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Great. Inhale, come up to locust pose. So again, the hands are just there for guidance. Exhale, elbows hug towards each other. Inhale, lengthen through the crown, through the tail, through the toes. Exhale, low belly draws in. Inhale, lift a little higher. And then exhale, lower all the way down. And then last set, inhale, lift up, cobra pose. And you've got 3 breath cycles here. You're pressing into the tops of the toes. You're hugging those elbows towards each other so that your shoulder blades can reach the heart forward. You're lifting through the crown, lengthening through the tail. You're pressing into the pinky toes. Nice job. Last inhale, lift a little higher using the back muscles, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, come up, locust pose, and you've got 4 breath cycles here. So toes lift, legs lift, head lift, shoulders squeeze together on the back body, tailbone lengthens back. And you're just noticing what you notice here. We're still breathing into the chest, the upper ribs, the collarbones. That exhale is still happening at the low belly. Inhale, lift a little bit higher. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck the toes under, inhale through plank, and exhale back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Pause and notice what you notice. So you're still lifting through the inner armpits. You're noticing that that exhale still draws the low belly towards the sacrum and all that area up towards your face. Nice job. All right, let's inhale, come forward, hands and knees. And then exhale, sit back for toe squat once again. And so this is just a momentary thing. We're not going to be here too long. I just want you to soften the gaze or close the eyes and notice what you notice here. So we're really focusing on our breath, our prana, as the means to shape our mental outlook, is a means to shape our actual activity within the world. And then very gently, we'll go ahead and come forward, hands and knees, and then swing your legs around in front of you and sit down on your butt. Now extend the legs long in front of you. I want you to Barbie floint through your feet. So you're pressing through the balls of your feet. You're curling the toes back towards your face and you're sitting as tall as you can through your vertebra. Now, I know Erica, you are going to love this. The rest of you, not so sure. We're going to reach our arms forward and you're going to press your palms into each other like you're making a Charlie's Angel thing, you know, you're just pushing your palms towards each other. Keep your feet active. I want you to curl your tailbone under until you start to roll back. Now you can stay here once all of the weight is on your sacrum, or you can start to lift your legs to hover off the floor. You're pressing your palms into each other. You might start to push your shin bones in towards each other, but you're reaching your head back as far as you can. So just the sacrum is on the floor. Next in-breath, reach forward through the hands, lower the legs to the floor, reach the arms up and overhead, Dandasana. We'll stay here for 3 breath cycles. And again, you're breathing into the collarbones, reaching up through the arms, and the exhale draws the low belly back and up towards your face. So that same breath pattern. Inhale, ribs widen, front, back, right, left. Exhale, low belly draws back and up. Awesome sauce. One more breath cycle here. Feet are still super active, Barbie floints. Awesome sauce. Next, exhale, hands come forward, palms press in. Curl your tailbone under, rolling down through bone by bone by bone by bone until it feels like just your sacrum's on the floor. You might then hover your legs off the floor. Your low belly is drawing in. You're hugging your outer thighs in towards each other. Palms press into each other. Nice job. Reach the feet to the floor, reach the arms forward, extend the arms up and overhead, Dandasana once again. And again, you're breathing into collarbones and ribs. Awesome sauce. And then 3rd time's the charm. So hands come forward parallel to the floor, press the palms into each other. Start to roll down your spine bone by bone until low back comes onto the floor, tailbone curls towards your feet. Once you're at a certain spot, you might hover those legs off the floor. Press out through your big toes even more, Jenny. Curl the toes back, squeeze your outer shin bones in, and then everyone see if you can lower 3 or 4 inches down. So it's just your sacrums off the floor. Eyes and fingers and toes are in one long line. Yep, and then inhale, come all the way back up. I see the smiles are shaking in pain. Nice job, or hopefully not pain, but struggle. Or maybe not struggle, but I don't know the word I want. But you're gonna reach up through your arms and lift up, flex through those feet. Awesome sauce. Open the arms out, lower the arms down. Great. And then bend both of your knees, plant the feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle underneath your left hip. Cross your left foot outside of your right thigh. Push down through your hips, lift your butt up and over to the right just a little bit. And then you're going to hug that left knee in towards your chest. Left hand floats to the left, slightly behind you. And we've got about 4 breath cycles here. I want you to pull your left thigh towards your chest as you push your left thigh into your right arm. Inhale finds length through the vertebra And exhale, draws the low belly in towards the spine in order to rotate a little bit more towards the left. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And then you're noticing if there's any tension around your shoulders, see if you can soften that. You're noticing if you can press that left big toe into the floor firmly, actively, fervently. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. On your next in-breath, just turn your face over your right shoulder. And then unwind your spine. Stack, if you can, your top knee on top of your bottom knee for Gomukhasana legs. If you're like, Jessica, that's not going to happen at all today, extend your bottom leg long beneath you, so your right leg long. Great. And then from here, you can just start to hinge forward at the hips. So knees are stacked right on top of each other. Hands walk forward, chin might nestle into the nook of your neck, forehead might reach towards the floor, and you're just going to pause and breathe here and notice where you notice sensation, notice where you notice breath, notice what you notice happening internally. How's your interior landscape at this moment? And then very gently, you're going to walk your hands back towards your pelvis, walk your spine up to sit. You might need to shift your weight back in order to uncross your left leg. So sometimes it feels good to just really reverse what I just did. So put the left sole of the foot on the floor, then uncross the legs and sit tall for a moment in Dandasana. You might choose to do another exit from that pose, but you're just noticing what you notice here. Great. And then as we're ready, we'll try the other side. So bend both knees. Tuck your left foot underneath your right, bringing the outer left foot outside of the right hip. Walk the right foot outside of the left hip. Hug, or rather push your hips down, or push your hands down, lift your hips over to the left, and then hug that right thigh into chest, right hand out to the right and back behind you a little bit. And you've got 4 breaths here. So just inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, the low belly on the right draws back in order to wrap the right ribs back, the left ribs forward. And again, you're still pushing the right thigh to the right. You're pulling the right thigh to the left. And you're just noticing how this is working in the ribs, how this is working in the hips. And as best as you can, your spine is still vertical. So we're sitting really tall. And on your next in-breath, turn your gaze over your front shoulder, your left shoulder. Just feel how that feels. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. And then from here, you'll unwind the spine and see if you can stack that right leg, right knee, right on top of the left. And you might need to fidget your butt around just a little bit. And then as you're ready, you'll start to hinge at the hips and come forward for Gomukhasana. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And again, the invitation is to really notice what you notice happening internally. I was watching a little bit of news with my mom this week, and they were talking about Facebook and Instagram of all things. And in any case, I thought it was interesting how they were commenting on how so much of what makes those applications popular is that they draw our attention outside of us, and that for many of us, being drawn outward like that is not very healthy. And our practice is one of those great places where we have the opportunity to be drawn inward, where that is the invitation, that is the practice, that is the goal, is to get a little bit more connected to ourselves. So you've got 2 more breath cycles here, and I just want you to observe and notice what you notice. And then at the end of your second exhalation, you'll start to walk your hands back. You'll start to walk your spine up, and then unwind those legs however you need to. And sit for a moment in Dandasana. So I want you to really press out through the balls of your feet, pulling the pinky toes back to your face, legs long, and then we'll lift our arms up. So the only reason I make you do this is it makes your backs work a little bit harder. And since we spend most of our time sitting in computers, that's not so much fun. You can also cactus the arms here if this feels better to you. It's just a matter of keeping your chest coming forward and up. But if it's okay to keep your arms straight, arms straight. Great. And then lower the arms alongside your hips. And you're going to make your way onto your back. And I want you to make sure as you come onto your back, you have all of your stuff that'll feel good to you. So if you want to wrap your body, by all means, wrap your body. If you need to have your blocks somewhere close by, please do that now. Blanket somewhere close by, please do that now. You need to turn the lights off. You might want to do that now too, just so you can have the opportunity to lay down. And then when you get back to your back, you're just going to start you're going to start how we started. Notice what you notice. What points of the body, like where do you feel a sense of calm? Where do you sense a sense of ease? If for any reason your low back is feeling a little wonky to you, I want you to do just a little simple bridge pose by just bending the knees, planting the feet on the floor, and lifting the hips up. It just sometimes can reset the low back if your low back's feeling a little wonky. So you'll just do one of those. And then after you've done that little mini bridge and you've come out of it, the shape I would encourage you to take is Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees open and splayed like a book. You do not need to do that. But if you'd like to, it feels really good. And I do encourage the use of blocks to support if that feels good to you. And then if it's cold in your space, you might also choose to have some type of covering over the body. And then we'll go back to that imprint. So I want you to notice how the body feels. Where do you feel points of the body touching the floor? I want you to notice what it feels like for your breath. Where does the breath feel for you? Does it still feel like it's in the nose and the throat and chest and the abdomen? Does the breath feel smooth? Does it feel deep? Does it feel full? Great. And then we're going to do a little bit of a visualized Shavasana for today. So I want you to just draw your awareness to your nose. Follow the breath in your nose into your body like you're taking a trip on the magic school bus. And now your awareness is coming in. And I want you to see if you can visualize or feel or sense the top of your brain stem. So, your brain looks like a walnut. And then the brain stem is the part right underneath the walnut, kind of above your neck. And so I want you to just keep your awareness there and then notice or imagine or sense or feel that beginning at the brain stem and trickling down the spine is this wave. The yogis call it amrita, this nectar. And it works its way very slowly down, almost like honey. And it starts at the brain stem, and then it starts to, of course, go down through the neck. And everywhere it starts to slowly pass, it releases any unnecessary tension. And so it goes through the neck, the throat, it relaxes along the collarbones, extending out through the shoulder blades, the arms, the upper ribs, the middle ribs, still dripping down the arms, down to the elbows, the waist, down through the forearms, the wrists, down through the palms and the fingers, still moving down through the spine. Maybe it's now somewhere near the low abdomen. and the pelvis, and the hips, the legs, and the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, and the tips of the toes. So you continue to just sense, feel, experience this wave moving from the top of the body, the crown, the brain stem down through the spine, down through the limbs, all the way to the base of the body, the soles of the feet. And every time this slow wave moves through the body, it's almost as though it's clearing out more and more of that which you do not need. It's making more and more space for positive energy, healing, health, restoration to come in. Just making more space for breath to feel your body. And so you'll just continue like this on your own for the next few moments, staying with this Amrita as it moves through your body. And I will let you know when it's time to come out. Gently return your awareness and just take a moment to check in. Notice what you notice. As you're checking in, if there's any part of you that longs to linger here for a few more moments or a few more breaths, by all means, please hang out here. When you are ready to move on with your day, start to invite small, gentle movement into your physical form. Those in stillness, stay as long as you'd like. Those in movement, you'll start to make your way over to your right side and you'll just pause there for a few breath cycles. Those on your side, start to gently make your way up to a tall, comfortable seat. And those that are more vertical, take the opportunity to sit tall and to sit well. I do encourage you to elevate your bum on a block or a blanket, and then remove any of the flesh from underneath your sit bones so it feels like you've got a nice tall seat. From there, just soften the gaze or close the eyes. Again, we're being very internal. And I want you to internally sense what it feels like to stack your ears over your shoulders over your hips. And then we'll just take a few moments to breathe here. We'll come back to that breathing pattern that we started with. So the inhale fills the upper torso, the ribs, the collarbones. The breath then descends down towards the pelvis. And the exhale starts to gather from the space just above the pubic bone. It draws it back and it draws it up. And you'll find that just by noticing these two breath patterns, we're really working with prana, which is what's filling the chest and the ribs. And we're working with apana, which is emptying, or rather lifting the pelvic floor. The two energies meet in the middle, in the navel, to create samana. The yogis, from my understanding, really believe that we want to have the ability to take in inspiration, respiration. And we also need to have the ability to let go. And the deciding force in all of that is what's happening in our navel, our ability to digest, discern what we need to take in, and what we need to let go of. And so as you're here for these last few moments, I'd like you to just notice what comes up for you, what needs to be digested in your own life. Where might you need a little bit more inspiration, respiration, breath? Or might you need just to let go just a little bit more, to eliminate? And then, of course, how can we find the balance between the two? Go ahead and draw your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of your thumbs into your sternum and lift your heart towards your hands. Soften your chin towards your chest and then exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in through your nose. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. The light within me honors and salutes the light within each of you. Namaste.